Hi, my name is Jemma and I'm a 7th grader at Ballet Tech. This is Ballet Tech Talks, and today I'm interviewing Maggie Christ, executive director. So, Maggie, what does an executive director at Ballet Tech do?
That's an excellent question. In some ways, I do a little bit of everything except go on stage and teach the children. I try to make sure that we pay the bills on time, that we have enough money to pay our bills, that our relationships with various external organizations are good, and like I said, I don't go on stage.
And how did you decide to work at the team?
It's interesting. I've always worked in not-for-profit organizations in the city, not-for-profit arts organizations in the city, and I was working in a little museum on the Upper East Side, and my accountant said to me, I have a really good job for you. And I didn't really love the museum world. I really liked the performing arts better. And so I applied for the job, and I ended up here, and that was kind of a long time ago. I think I've been here for 26 years.
Good segue. How have you seen Ballet Tech change in 26 years?
So when I started, there was still a ballet company. Elliott Feld had a ballet company. We had union dancers. The company performed up to 9 weeks a year at the Joyce. They actually still toured at the very beginning of my tenure here. And the company was sort of on the cusp of moving from being a company that was a traditional ballet company where he went out and auditioned people to a company that was really only made up of dancers who had come through the school. Eventually, for various reasons, Ellie decided to disband the company, and that happened in 2003. So that's almost 20 years ago at this point. After the company dissolved, there were several years where there were pickup companies, and Elliott would choreograph, and he would either bring back dancers who had been in the company, who had come through the school, or he was getting dancers from other places. And that went on for a few years where we would have like a week or 2 weeks at the Joyce, never touring with that group of people. That was sometimes called the Man Dance Project. Sometimes you'll see posters out in the lobby that say Man Dance Project on them. And eventually that sort of also just died away slowly, and what we have now is a school, a full-time school for people like you.
And what would you say your favorite ballet is?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. I have to say I really, really like Scarabray, and it's a ballet he did for grown-ups for the company to very haunting music, and it has this sort of haunting storyline about a group of people on an island near Scotland who may or may not have had what's the word for it? Civilization that dissolved. So there's this very what was going on, and the women they're wearing rocks on their heads, and the movement is really interesting and haunting and kind of beautiful.
And a little off topic, but what's your favorite book?
Oh, that's a really good question. I like a lot of books. Sometimes I think my favorite book is the one I just finished reading. One of the books that I read in the past year that I really, really, really loved was called Entangled Life, and it's all about funguses.
Interesting.
Yeah, not nonfiction. It's nonfiction.
And what motivates you to work hard?
I like getting things done. My job tends to be a series of things that are very open-ended and long-term, and they are never ending. And then I also do things that are very small and task-oriented that are actually really kind of great to do because you feel like, oh, I accomplished something today. I can actually cross something off my list. Of course, it'll pop up again in a month, and then you'll have to do it again. But it's kind of satisfying to have those very, very mundane things to do occasionally.
And finally, what is your favorite part of working here?
I really like that every day is different. Sometimes I get to talk to students like you. Sometimes I get to work with the development office on crafting letters that are going out to our funders. Sometimes I'm working with Dion thinking about what are we going to do in the next 5 years. So every day is really, really different.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Once again, I'm Jemma and this is Maggie. Thank you for listening to our Ballet Tech Talk.